Due to that last sheet, what was the gravitational field? We brought the expression as equal to 2 sigma by 2g sigma something. We ended with the expression that one. Now similarly, we'll go for some spherical objects. Spherical objects means due to solid sphere, due to shell. How to find out the gravitational field? So as we go for spherical objects, lot of calculations will be involved here. I'll just show that. I suggest you that it's there in SU Verma. If you want, you can go through it. I'll just give only idea, brief description, and we'll try to avoid this mathematical approach. Instead, we'll go for the Gauss law for gravitation. That is going to benefit a lot. If this is okay, let's begin that one. So if I ask you for a solid sphere, this is a solid sphere. What is the magnetic field strength? Somewhere at point P. Then how to calculate it? So what is our approach alternative? So I'm going to assume here a circular disc like this. I'll assume a circular disc. This one. So sorry, circular this disc. I'm going to assume it. You can see now the slowly the complications. It'll be like this. So then this will have a strip. So this will be radius y. So this everything at a distance x will take it. Now this will become a disc, no? A disc, this one. I'm showing like a ring only. In fact, it's a disc, that one. I think 3D, I may not, I'm unable to show it. So it's in fact, it's a thin disc. This view. So first what happened, we should find out the field strength at point P due to this thin disc. We would get this one. Then what happened? Then we should integrate. Then we'll get the gravitational field strength at point P due to the total disk. And I think this will be very lengthy calculations will be involved. To avoid this mathematics, no, I'll go for alternatives. So where is the point P? The point P lies outside. So you usually will take some calculations like this. Let this be the X. Let this be R. Then what is the at what distance that this particular disk will be? R plus R minus R. Then we should end up, we should start first, we should define dm, the mass of this disk, dm. Then due to this disk, thin elemental disk, at point P, what is the field strength? Then I'll integrate, I'll get the required answer. Everything is there, description is there in SU Verma. You just go through once, just see once, that one. So to overcome the difficulty what we face with the integration, only one who are very good in integration only can manage that one. So what about then one who are not good in integration or who don't know integration, how do they manage? Yes, we have alternatives. That's called like a Gauss law. It's a very beautiful law which will help us a lot. That one. If you look at the books, what happened? They didn't suggest it. Since we study Gauss law for electrostatics, even Gauss law is there for magnetism, Gauss law for magnetism, Gauss law for electrostatics, and the same Gauss law I'm bringing even for the electrostatics also. So let's get into the Gauss law. So what the Gauss law says, so it says that integral of E bar dot ds, this should be equal to 4 pi g into m. What is m? M is, this is for the field. And what is ds? Elemental surface. And 4 pi g, already know g, gravitational constant. And what is m? Mass enclosed by Gaussian surface. Okay, what is the demonstration of this? Okay, let's get into the point mass. So first we'll start with the point mass. We know the field due to point mass already. So here what happen? I'll assume a Gaussian surface. Just do make observation. Then gradually you learn how to utilize this particular law. So there's a mass m, point mass. So we are discussing for point mass here first. Okay, this is the radius r. So we know what is the field strength at this particular point. Already we know answer, no? Then sir, what is the fun in studying this Gauss law? I'm just showing even the answer for what we know, like what is the, it is equal to how much it is? GMR square. So what is the field strength at point E? It is equal to how much? GMR square. So this already we know it for a point mass, it is this much here. Now using Gauss law, I'm going to bring it here. So what I do is like, I'll assume an elemental surface. So what is the elemental surface? You can assume like this. It will have n cap. Now what is this? This is the elemental surface I'm asking you to assume. So what is this elemental surface? So it will subtend an angle, in fact. I think I'm able to show this one. So what is the best thing is you go for football, one patch will be there, no? That patch what will happen will make some small angle. It will subtend some angle at the center, and at the center I kept a like some particle of mass m, point mass m. This area of this patch is what I'll write it as ds. Then what is ds bar? Ds bar is given by area into unit vector. So why we have to take unit vector? For a closed curved surface, the unit vector will be radially outward. What do you mean by closed curved surface? Example, the spherical one. For a spherical surface, so depend how the unit vector will be. The area vector will be radially outward. Sir, then we do have other type of structures. Suppose a cubical one. This is a cubical box. What about n cap? Here n cap will be, I think according to the diagram, I'm able to show only for, I think, 5 faces. The other one will come in this way here. Is it okay? No, 6 faces are there. No, for 6 faces, what will happen? The n cap will come. So what is the area vector for upper surface? It will be if the side length is L, then for the surface 1, 2, 3, 4. How you define S1, 2, 3, 4? L square into n cap. Like this, what happen? We define the area vector. For a closed surface, it will be radially outward. You take any patch. So you draw a line from the center to the surface. So that will become a normal, no? And this n cap will be normal to the area vector. Normal to the area, that one. So that magnitude, what is ds bar? ds into n cap will become area vector. Sir, you said earlier area, volume or scalar. Here we are defining them mathematically. I know ds is area. By multiplying unit vector, I am making it as area vector. The E bar dot ds is equal to what? 4 pi gm. And what is m? Mass enclosed. And what is this? This is a Gaussian surface. Now you have to, best question you have to answer, sir. Why you assumed Gaussian surface? What is a Gaussian surface? Did they spherical? Gaussian sphere. Better you can call it a Gaussian surface, or it is a Gaussian sphere. And now you have to ask next question, sir. Why you assumed the sphere only? To get answer. To get answer. Why we are assumed sphere? To get an answer. That's all. Nothing. So let's see that one. Now, like what is E bar at all points on this sphere? How E bar will be? E bar will be directed into this one. E bar will be directed into, okay, this one. I'll introduce minus sign because we'll encounter angle that one. Because it's a like a attractive field, no? We'll introduce one minus sign. How E bar will be? At all points on the surface will be radially outward, radially inward. And how n cap we are defining? Radially outward. So what is the angle between E bar and n cap? Will be 180 degrees. So this particular I will solve this particular thing. At all points, C bar is constant, so I'll take outside the integration, or it will become like this first. E ds cos of 180. What is the net mass enclosed? 4 pi gm. Look at now, cos of 180 minus 1. So this everything, and E is constant. I'll take outside. Now, like this, if I add all the patches, elemental surfaces, what do I get? I'll get surface area of a sphere. So the LHS, what it will become? 4 pi r square. So what we have obtained? We got the gravitational field strength due to point 1. How much it is? Gm r square. This is the method of finding out this one. Now, when you can write E bar dot, when it will become like this, two conditions have to be followed. Everywhere what happen? E bar must be parallel to ds bar. This is the thing, and E must be constant at all points on the surface. So these are the two things are there. On the Gaussian surface, better you say, where it must be E bar must be parallel to ds bar on the Gaussian surface. Nothing but what this particular two conditions will help us to assume Gaussian surface. When you're assuming a Gaussian surface, you have to take care this particular thing, that one. Then what when you can solve, you'll end up with answer. No, sir, I didn't like this particular thing. I didn't like this formula. I don't follow point 192. Then you'll not end up with answer. You'll not end up with answer. So not end up with answer means, let's take that one. I'll give this one. So there's a point mass. So what I do is I'll keep a point mass at the center of the Gaussian surface, cubical Gaussian surface, I'll assume. Initially you'll find little bit difficult. Once you understand, you feel there's a most easiest way of now. Here is what I'll kept a point mass. Where is the point mass? Point mass kept at center of cube. Is it okay? No, fine. Now I'll ask you what is the field strength here. Then what is the biggest problem? So what is the Gaussian surface we assumed? Cube instead of sphere. Then what is the problem we are going to face it? At different points, so what happened? The magnitude of E bar will be different, and angle between E bar and ds also will be different here. So for example, I'll make it a simple like this. So here is what, just like a plain diagram will take it little bit easy for you. So there's a mass. How E bar will be at this particular point. E bar should be directed towards it. Then how ds bar will be, and what is angle, because n cap should be there in that direction, no? Or just I'll put it n cap. What about here? Here the patch will come like this, E2, and this is say N2. Like that, you look at this one, this will be E3 bar, which will be directed towards, and this is N3 cap. So look at the angle now. At different points, the angle between E bar and then here, what is angle? 180. What about angle here? So some other angle. Here, some other angle. And also the magnitude is different. So what will happen to LHS? The LHS will end up like this. And so on. 4 pi g mass enclosed. So what happened? LHS we can never solve, no? So what was the problem? What mistake we did? By assuming a cubical Gaussian surface. But instead what happen, if you assume a spherical Gaussian surface, then everywhere what happen, the n cap will be radially outward. Angle between E bar and n cap will be 180 degrees. Then cos of, and at all points on Gaussian surface, on the spherical surface, we know E is constant according to this formula, and we'll end up the answer. So therefore, whenever you are using this Gauss law, so what you should do, you should follow these 2 points. What type of Gaussian surface you should assume? You should assume a Gaussian surface such that E bar should be parallel to ds bar at all points on Gaussian surface, and E must be constant at all points. Then only you'll end up with answer. Otherwise, you will not get answer. But don't say Gauss law is wrong. You should not say Gauss law is wrong. What is the problem with here? Problem with the Gaussian surface. We are unable to simplify. So to use Gauss law effectively, what you should do? You should assume a suitable Gaussian surface. Then you'll get answer. If you don't assume suitable Gaussian surface, you don't get answer. Finish sure. This is the thing, that one. Okay, now slowly I'll take you to example. Can you remember for line charge for a long rod or say long rod? I think we struggled a lot, no, to get that answer. Let me draw that rod. No, there's a rod, no. Now, can you remember the formula? I think can you remember the effort we have put it? Why it is not coming? Yeah. Now, there's a infinite long rod here. I want to find out the field using Gauss law. So I suggest here you assume a Gaussian cylinder. There's a Gaussian cylinder I'm asking you to assume. So what is the radius of Gaussian cylinder? Let it be R. Length of Gaussian cylinder, let it be L. Then we know how E bar, I'm asking you to assume a surface like this. Let this be E bar. And this is N cap. And this is ds. Okay, I agree this one. What about here, sir? Here also there. But how n cap here will be for this surface? And what about here? N cap will be in this direction. Cylinder, I think you know there are 3 faces will come. No, 2 flat and this is a curved one. Agree this one. So everywhere what happen? The E bar at additions are will be constant. Can you remember the formula? Already we derived. We know it. E bar at all points is a constant, and we have even defined this as a lambda, mass per unit length. Okay, let's come for the formula. I assumed a cylindrical Gaussian surface. What is this? This is a cylindrical. What about E bar dot ds for this surface will be 0, because here E bar will be tangential to surface. E bar will be tangential and n cap here. So the E bar dot ds will be 0 for this surface, will be 0 for this one. Only for curved surface it will be non-zero. So now I think I'll give name surface 1, 2, 3. Now what is the value of? Let me proceed here. E bar dot ds for surface 2 and 3. We'll agree this only due to 1 it is non-zero. So therefore the total formula is equal to 4 pi g. What is the net mass enclosed? What is the mass enclosed? Lambda into L, because lambda is mass per unit length. Net mass enclosed will be lambda into L. Let's calculate this one. E is constant at all points on cylindrical surface. But sir, what about due to 2 and 3? It is 0 anyway. No. So finally the formula, what happened? It will come out like this. Now, what is the surface area of a cylinder? Curved surface area. I think this is the 1L, right? Due to surface 1, we are finding. What is the curved surface area? 2 pi RL. Now look at the formula. G lambda L get cancels. So 2G lambda R. Check the answer. Is this what we derived for long rod? Anybody, if you're having a doubt, go back and check the answer. Yes, in fact, this is what the field due to long rod, no? How many steps? Within 2-3 steps, no? To get the same answer, I think we struggled a lot. First, due to finite rod, we should be very good integration. We should take care about the limits. Then there, put alpha, beta 90 degree. Then you'll end up with answer. Look at this very beautifully. Within 2-3 steps, we got the answer. It's a law. You can't do anything. It's a law. So don't try to change, sir, why only like this? It's a law, finish over. You should know how to utilize it here. What is value of E bar dot ds for surface 2 and 3? Because the E bar is, I'll show, because how E bar will be directed like this. Am I right? So what is the angle between E bar and N cap at surface 3? Will be 90 degree. So why it has become 0? Because E bar is perpendicular to ds at surface 2 and 3. That's why what happened, it is 0, that one. So shall we slowly take help of this one only? I think you see that one more. Due to large sheet, we derived expression, no, morning. Due to large sheet, we have derived expression. This one. Anybody, can you give the answer? How much it was? Morning, we derived expression for this large sheet.
2gm by r square.
No, in terms of sigma, you bring it. In terms of sigma.
2 pi sigma g, sir.
2 pi sigma g. Only this much, huh? Yes, fine.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, now you see this. The same thing I'll derive now using Gauss law. To bring that, so what was the effect we have put it? It was a huge, no? First you should know ring. From the ring you should know disk. In the disk again you should put r equal to infinity. Everything what happened will minimize here. There's a last sheet. For you it appears finite. It's a last sheet. That's why the ends I'm showing it in this way. So if I show like this, ends means what happened? It's a large. Due to last sheet. So this will make it a plane diagram. It's a thin sheet. Okay, let's assume a Gaussian surface. What Gaussian surface? The Gaussian surface I'll bring like this. This is the sigma. Now here you take the elemental surface n cap. Here n cap should be like this, and this is having delta s. Similarly, n cap like this, and this is the n cap, and what is the surface area of this is delta s. How field due to sheet? I gave one plane diagram. Can you remember? The field will be like this, no? Uniform. Okay, I get this, and is equal to 2 pi sigma g. We are very sure what happened already. We know some idea. This is the surface which I'm showing more interest here. Later on I do coloring it. So it will come like this here. So again, what is our formula? Okay, I think this is negative sign I'm forgetting because in electrostatics we don't use. Or you can show that E bar negative. E bar negative means it will be towards center. That's the meaning of that one. E bar dot ds. Yeah. Let's come for this one. What about there are three what about the cylinder? No, shall I say the shaded part only will contribute the E bar? No, E bar dot d delta s will be non-zero only. What about here? E bar and n cap for this surface for this surface, what is the value of E bar dot ds? Will be 0 because delta S bar will be upward and E bar will be tangential. So what is the like a E bar dot ds for by this surface? Will be 0. Only the flat surfaces will contribute. The shaded things only will contribute the E bar dot ds. What about this curved surface will not contribute here. Or you can give the name like this. This is the surface 1, surface 2, 3. This is 4. We'll expand like this. E bar dot delta S bar equal to 4 pi g net mass enclosed by Gaussian surfaces. So what all this due to? First one, E bar dot ds, negative sign, due to 2. No, we'll keep on write it. Now what is the net mass enclosed? Sigma into delta S, sigma into delta S. No, you can see that this cylinder will enclose the mass here. How much? Sigma into delta S. This cylinder will enclose a mass, sigma into delta S. So here, how much of mass is enclosed here? So we'll get it. So what is the value of this? This will be minus E into cos of delta S cos of 180. Because everywhere E is constant. We know it's a uniform. At all points on this surface, delta S, at surface 2, the E is constant. So E will come outside. Integral of, like a integral of that one. So it will be delta S that one. Okay, then what about at surface 2? Will be 0. Any reason for that? E delta S integral delta S into cos of 90 degrees. Due to surface 3 will be E delta S plus this will be, I think for everything minus sign will be there. In books, if you see for with E showing negative means it will be towards the body, that one. So let me eliminate that negative sign. Again, you'll get confused. Equal to how much it will be? 4 pi g 2 sigma delta S. Any Gaussian surface you assume? If you get answer, okay, fine. You assume correct Gaussian surface. Sir, integral delta S, the overall area, how much it is? Constant, no? Equal to area of cross section. Or some of you are asking, sir, why this is? I'll do one thing. Integral of ds what will give that cross sectional area. Let it be this much. Delta S, again you will get confused. So what is the value of this? This will be E delta S minus E delta S. 4 pi sigma 2 sigma delta S. So what all I can cancel out? 2 delta S will get ended up, no? So what is the our entire formula will be 4 pi g sigma. 2 pi sigma g is what I got the answer. Anybody? Where is the mistake? What we are doing? Where we are going wrong? I'm just asking. I want to draw some attention. Intentionally, I made some mistake. Let's see that how you answer this one. Where we are gone wrong? See, there is only one mass. No, what is the mass present in the cylinder? Is what this mass only. If you stand from here, what is the mass enclosed? You say sigma delta S. And if you stand from here also, sigma delta S. The same mass we have written twice. This was the wrong. Are you getting no idea? The same mass, what happened? We are writing twice here. What is the mass enclosed by these two cylinders? Because what is the net mass enclosed by the Gaussian surface? What is the Gaussian surface? Here the cylinders are the Gaussian surface. This is a sheet. So this should not be there. Huh? Okay, fine. This should not be there. Okay, look at the final answer. What we derived morning, the same thing I brought it. So what is this M enclosed? Mass enclosed by the Gaussian surfaces altogether. Two Gaussian cylinders we assumed it. What is the net mass enclosed by them? Sigma into delta S. That you have to substitute here. So only thing is, I think some practice you needed. If you can get some practice of how to use Gauss law, you'll be on safer side. Means like anybody can be brought inside the Gaussian surface. Yes, you can also go and stand inside the Gaussian surface. Then field due to this you can find out. Okay, sir, then that is the case. If that is the case, then due to finite rod, you tell me how much using Gauss law. Okay, let's see that. Can we really find out or not? Okay, there's a finite rod. We know already field. Can we use Gauss law? The answer is no. Any reason for that? We don't have suitable Gaussian surface to get an answer. Are you getting no? So Gauss law is not some, you can say like for everything you'll get an answer, only for symmetric distribution. For a finite rod, what happened? Gauss law is not a wrong. We are unable to get an answer using Gauss law. Then similarly, sir, for a disk, you calculate what is the field at the axis. We don't have suitable Gaussian surface which will give us the answer. So therefore, I'll rule out. Since already I know answer, I'll be happy. What is this, sir? Like, yes, see, it is having some conditions, its own condition, that one. For a ring, for a disk, for a finite rod, can we apply Gaussian Gauss law to get the answer? The answer is no. For selected shaped objects, using Gauss law, it will become very easier. Fine. This is okay. Let's get into the more interesting is first I wanted solid sphere. Due to solid sphere. So first here, this is the solid sphere. This is having a mass m and radius r. It's a solid. I want at a distance x, or say smaller, the gravitational field strength. What is the method? You should assume a disk, then due to that disk, how much of field here, then you should first due to elemental disk, what is the field, then you should integrate, you'll get an answer. Using Gauss law, I'm going to show it. So what we are going to do is, I'm just going to assume a Gaussian surface. So what is the Gaussian surface? The Gaussian surface will be this much. So here, what is a Gaussian surface I assumed? So what is the shape of Gaussian surface? It's a spherical. Gaussian sphere. Then what I do, I'll assume a Gaussian. How E bar? E bar will be directed towards center. E out, I'll write it. And this is the elemental surface ds. And everywhere the E bar will be anti-parallel to n cap, and E out will be constant at a distance r. So therefore the entire formula, which is like this, E bar dot ds equal to 4 pi g. What is the net mass enclosed? M. So how do it appear? Though it's a solid sphere, this everything what happened will appear like a point mass. The whole what happens solid sphere you can treat like a point mass, and it will be placed at the center of that one. Then if E is constant at all points and E is anti-parallel to this, so therefore this will become integral of E out minus of ds cos of 180 equal to 4 pi g. What is the mass enclosed? M. Negative sign will eliminate. Integral of ds. Such patches, if I add, I'll get surface area of a sphere. So what is surface area of a sphere? 4 pi r square. This is the gravitational field strength due to the sphere, outside the sphere. Then on the surface, I want on the surface, what is the value? So definitely what we are discussing, this is the first case for r greater than the radius. So where the point will lie? The point lies outside the sphere. So this is a solid sphere and you are writing point mass. When you are writing Gauss law, don't say, like if you are far away, means like if r infinity, then we'll see point mass, nothing like that. You look at the moon, how did it appear for you? Like a point mass. So there's a methodology of involving Gauss law here. So though there's a solid sphere, it will appear like where the mass is present. The mass is present here. But the whole mass will appear like a point mass concentrated center. When do this will happen? When a body, if its mass is distributed symmetrically with respect to center of Gaussian surface, then the whole mass you can treat like a point mass placed at the center of Gaussian surface. These are the some corollary of that particular law is what the Gauss has proposed here, and that is what we are applying it here. So what is that note? I'll put it. If a mass of a body is distributed symmetrically with respect to center of Gaussian surface, then the whole mass appears as a point mass placed at center of there's a one prior condition when you're doing Gauss. That too means whenever you get a spherical object, which will be symmetric with respect to Gaussian surface. I think for Gaussian sphere, if the spherical object will be symmetrically, the mass will be distributed symmetrically. No, I'm using word symmetrically. Able to understand? You take now this particular point. At what distance it is? Small r minus capital R. You look at this also. Shall I say that the mass is distributed symmetrically with respect to center of Gaussian surface? Spherical symmetry is there. So the whole spherical object, what when though it's a spherical body, it will behave like a point mass. It appears to be, again, it will not become point mass. It will not become point. It appears to be. So if it's a point mass, we know what is the field. Gm by r square. No need to even this, apply this, everything. Just that you can write it. Sir, is it true? Is it really what we calculated correct answer? Yes, in fact, you do practically, because what is Earth? Earth is a spherical object, almost like near to spherical object. You calculate the gravitational field, it obeys this particular formula. Agreed? No? This one on the surface of the solid sphere, how much it will be. Here the sphere, later classes will call that as a planet. And next again, if it is a on the surface, how much it is. The radius of that, let it be r. And now where is the point? The point has come this one. So let me do one thing. I'll write P1. R greater than R. And now where is the point P2? It point P2 where R is equal to capital R on the surface. I think the formula what you should do, Gm by R square. Put small r equal to capital R. Put small r equal to capital R. you'll get the field on the surface, and how it will be directed, the field will be radially inward. Here it's like this. And O is the center of this one. Next, we'll proceed into point 3. So here is what our points here. So point 1. I'm interested outside on the surface, and again the inside the solid sphere. So already now we got outside on the surface. Now we'll go inside that one. Inside the solid sphere, how much the gravitational field strength? How to calculate that inside? Let me take the same sphere. No, this is the Gaussian surface. I assumed it. Why spherical Gaussian surface? Because the mass is distributed symmetrically, no? So a spherical Gaussian surface will be much suitable for us. Okay, after getting this, what is the total mass of the sphere? So what is the next point? At point P3. So that P3 is here. We have to find out here. So what is third point? At point P3, where r will be less than small r. Inside the solid sphere, no? Then everything is a solid sphere. I'll write like this. Somewhere rough diagram. This solid sphere. What is this dotted line? The dotted line is a Gaussian surface. Or better say Gaussian surface or Gaussian sphere, anything you call it. In a radial distance of capital R, what is mass m is there? In a radial distance of smaller, how much of mass enclosed? The mass enclosed is different, no? M dash. What is m? Rho into density equal to mass by 4 by 3 pi r cube. Then what is m dash? Mass enclosed by the Gaussian surface. So we'll write it here. Mass how much of mass enclosed by a Gaussian surface? Density into volume of that, how much? 4 by 3 r cube. M dash equal to, what is rho? M by 4 by 3 pi r cube. This is, so this will be equal to how much? Here 4 by 3 pi, 4 by 3 get cancelled. So m r cube by capital R cube. Let's write our Gauss law. What is our Gauss law? Integral of E bar dot ds is equal to 4 pi g. Now what is the net mass enclosed? M dash, not m. So where is the mass present? Only in the sphere of radius r is what mass enclosed by Gaussian surface, no? And now your task question, sir. Why not here? Why not this region? Yes, in fact, it will contribute. This region also will contribute, but the net field at point P3 will be only due to mass enclosed. So how do you can say? Okay, let me derive, or else I'll go for next part. I'll show that why only mass enclosed will contribute there. I think I need. Okay, first let me derive the expression, then I'll come to there. Let me show the answer. So time being, what when I'm saying that the net field at point P3 is only due to the mass present in a sphere of radius small r. Only in that dotted region, how much of mass is present, that only will contribute. This mass which is present outside the Gaussian surface will, the net field at point P3 due to this region will be 0. That is due to symmetry, I say. Okay, no, this will become, now what is ds here again? I should assume, I should show what is ds, no? So ds will be definitely, this is n cap, and here is what? That e in. Inside, no? We are calculating inside. Let's write the formula. This should be equal to, at all points e in will be constant. So this will become integral of ds cos 180, 4 pi g mr cube by capital R cube. Integral of ds, this will be e in. Integral of ds, how much you'll get? 4 pi r square. 4 pi r square, 4 pi r square get cancelled. So finally, how much we are ending up with answer? So what is the gravitational field strength inside? It varies. It's like it's proportional to r. At center will be 0, and as you proceed, it increases, and it will be maximum. So can we justify our answer? Put small r equal to capital R, where we are will come on the surface. No, when you are on the surface, what is the gravitational field strength? Gm by r square. I think put small r equal to capital R, Gm by r square. What earlier we brought, the same answer we are ending up now. So here what is this? R is less than or equal to capital. This formula is applicable only for inside. No, I think I had to justify this one. No, field due to the region which lies outside. Why it is will not contribute here. How it has become zero. That I'll give simple mathematical expression. Just geometry. High school geometry is what I'll take help of. See, your high school geometry is so important that nowadays we are living it. To be frank. So this was the surface, no? Now, let me take a shaded region. So I want the field at this point. So this was the point P3, no? Which we took, we have determined it. Just some very good logical reason I'll give it, nothing big. No. Okay, look at this. So there are two strips, two what happened regions. I'm taking that one at point P3. Okay, this is our point 2. This is R. This is capital. Will I agree this? Now let me take this as region 1, region 2. I'm very sure that the gravitational field strength at point P3 due to 192 will be equal and opposite. Like that, Orpan, you can take the symmetric element, means like a will they not contribute as what field this will contribute? This will contribute. Like that, Orpan, if you take the vector sum at this particular point due to all thing, will be zero. That one. Just one small idea I'm giving it. Because of symmetry, what field this sector contributes here, it'll be this direction. No? Due to this, will be like this. Due to this, 2 will be like this here. I think I'll try to show in the, so this will be E1, this will be E2. That E1 will become equal to E2. Like that, what happened? You can assume the several strips here, and if you calculate that one, the net field at point P3 due to the mass that is lying outside the Gaussian surface will be zero. I'm not saying it will not contribute. It will contribute, but the net field at point P3 due to the mass which lies outside the Gaussian surface due to symmetry will nullify it. Then who will contribute the field at this point? Only the mass enclosed. This is one greatest advantage of the Gauss law. Sir, is it verified? As long back it is verified. Better let's accept it and proceed here. Or else what happens? So no, sir, I didn't like it. Okay, go back in SUR my as given. Is assuming a first solid sphere, no? You'll assume a disk. Due to disk, what is the field here? Then you'll integrate. You'll be in a big trouble. So just this logical thinking, if you can develop, no, you'll be in better position. So what is this? This one, there's a Gaussian surface. There's a solid sphere. Solid sphere is not only that red color. This everything is a solid sphere. So I'll okay, agree this one, no? So there's a method, there's a way what will happen, we will proceed here now. So I think whenever the spherical object comes, spherical body, it's better to take the Gauss law. Now if I plot the graph, so how the variation of the gravitational field, I'm interested in the variation. So as I move inside, the field strength will increase. Then on the surface, it is becoming maximum. Then outside, it is decreasing. Okay, I agree this. So there's a variation of gravitational field strength from the center of the sphere. So, and on the surface, it is maximum. How much it is? Gm by r square. Then outside, how much it will be? Gm by small r square. It starts decreasing. Inside the sphere, as you move from center to the towards surface, the field strength keeps on increases. Here becomes maximum. Then outside, what happens? Start decreasing. So like this, we indicate the variation of gravitational field strength. Now the same idea now will extend for spherical shell. Till now, what we discussed, this is for solid sphere. Now we'll go for spherical shell. Spherical shell, thin spherical shell. Example, basketball, volleyball. What they are? They are shell, no? Inside air will be there. Agreed this? So all these are balloon. Balloon will not be spherical in shape. So I'll not give example of balloon. Basketball, volleyball, they are good examples. So what about the field due to them? So the thin spherical shell. We need diagram. I'll draw it here. It's a thin. Mass m. So here for your understanding purpose, I'll write air, this air. So let it be made up of iron or rubber, anything you can take it. Usually we discuss the rigid one, let it be iron, that one. So able to understand now what do you mean by thin spherical shell or hollow sphere, both are same. Now what is the field strength at this particular point, at point P1, where the point P1 will lie outside this. Now strictly what is R? R is greater than capital R. Now first E bar outside the thin shell. Shall we assume again Gaussian surface? Again, after assuming a Gaussian surface, then the whole shell will appear like a point by any reason because it's also distributed symmetrically. So what is that Gaussian surface? The Gaussian surface will be like this. I'll show. I think we'll wind up here only, everything. There's a Gaussian surface and this is what that shell. and this is the radius r. Now what is that red color dotted line? Gaussian surface, and this is what that shell. Agree this? So where is our point P1? It lies here. Then again what we are going to assume a surface on the Gaussian surface. N cap will come like this. E1 will come. E1 or E out, anything you can. Let me write E1 in this case. Then what is the formula? There's everything will appear like a point mass, no? You can treat like a point mass because symmetrical distribution. So or the formula will be E1 bar dot ds. Now what is the net mass enclosed? The mass of the shell. And where do it appear? It will appear like a point mass. Then at all points E1 is constant on Gaussian surface. So integral of ds cos of, so this will become, what is the integral of ds will be 4 pi r square. So strictly r greater than capital R. So what is the gravitational coefficient outside the thin shell? It is equal to this much here, gm by r square. So shell solid sphere same. Yes, we got the answer like that. Now on the surface, E outside the surface, E1, no? And this is E2. On the surface, I'll write E2 is equal to gm by r square, where r equal to capital R. What about inside? Because where mass is present only at a distance capital R, no, not like solid sphere. Basketball, where that rubber will be there. Elastic, I think, shall I call elastic material? For basketball, where elastic material will be there? Only on the surface, no? That is. What about inside? Inside, everything will be air or hollow. So I'll draw the shell. Now let's draw the Gaussian surface. See, what is maximum? Our physics approach is such that we will avoid mathematics, because mathematics, yes, it's a tool. That's all. It's not a concept. See, that's why students nowadays are focusing more on math-based problem. You look at the advanced, no, hardly will get a question where there is integration. You check like from 2015 to 2020. At the most, past 5 years, question paper advance. I think 10 question papers will get every year, 2 papers, paper 1, paper 2. There are hardly 3 or 4 questions which are there on integration differentiation. The rest all, everything, all basic laws. But I'm very sure what type of questions you do like, more math based, because you are good in maths. So what you are good is doesn't like what is good for exam is what you have to prepare. Are you getting my idea? I'm not against the mathematics, but I really want you to do the mixed concept problems more, because the type of exam what you are writing doesn't need much mathematics. That's what I feel. See the type of, see finally what is your goal? Advanced good rank, that's all, no? So in advance you check it, no? But we should know good math. It's not that we should avoid integration. We should know how to use the mathematics. It's not that everything is maths. Please don't take it in another way. So now, sir, okay, thank you very much. Any integration problem, I'll skip it. You'll never understand anything in physics. But sir, what you should do? You should give focus first, say learning concepts. Okay, do integration based problem, and 5% of problems on based on integration difference. Remaining all mixed concepts. Mixed concept means what? Work-Ng theorem, friction and gravitation, rolling motion and gravitation, projectile motion and gravitation. Yes, bring it. Different ideas. They will help you a lot in exam. So I do like students to take that challenging type of question, mixed concepts, rather than confining only to integration based. See, anybody can see mass. No, what is a mass? Procedure. If you know procedure, finish over. What is there in that one? So solving problem, I think calculations had to be not given that much of highest priority. There's a dotted, no? I have to show it. Everything I'm keeping in mind. Second year one topic, electrostatics, Gauss law. I'm focusing here. Okay, fine. So there I think within one day we can wind up Gauss law. 1 week they're given. Within one day we can wind up. And this is a Gaussian surface. This is the shell. Where the mass is present, the mass is m here. And this is a Gaussian surface. Now you see this. This is a point P3, no? Tell me now, what is the net mass enclosed by the Gaussian surface? Zero, no? There's no mass here. But sir, like a mass is present here. Again, the same thing. This mass, so you shade like this. Just this idea, just only to make students to think. I'm describing things like this here. What mass is contributed by this region, no? What field is contributed by the region 1? I think it's not a arc, am I right? It's a shell, no? So what do you get? You get some sort of a cap, shall I call? What mass, what field contributed by the spherical cap, by the cap 1? The same field will be equal and opposite field will be contributed by the spherical cap 2. All of you, cap means if you take a sphere, if you cut like this here, it will become hemisphere. If you cut it here, this will become cap. If you take a spherical shell, okay, this is called as a cap. Spherical cap it is called as. So I think similarly what we get it here, no? There's a one cap, spherical cap 1. There's a spherical cap 2. Where the center will be here only. The field contributed to spherical cap 1 and 2 will be equal and opposite. The net field will be 0. This is one mathematical way, or according to Gauss law, where the net mass enclosed by the Gaussian surface 0. E3 bar dot ds 4 pi g. So there's no problem. So just LHS leave like this. This is 0. As ds will be non-zero. You take any surface here, elemental surface. There will be elemental surface, no? There's no problem with elemental surface. Am I right? There's no problem with the elemental surface. We do have. But what is 0 here? There's no field. That's why, since M enclosed is 0, therefore ET should be 0. Don't write ds 0. Gaussian surface, you assume, no? So what is the surface of a Gaussian sphere? 4 pi r square. Agree this one? So like this, what happened? What is the field inside the shell will be 0. Means everywhere inside the field will be 0 inside the shell. So if you draw a shell, what about the field at A, B, O, C? I'm picking up some arbitrary points. What the field? EA, EB, EC, everything will be 0. Agree this? This one? What about on the surface? As gm by r square. Outside, gm by smaller, similar to solid sphere. So if you are interested, so sir, how to find out mathematically by integration? What you should do? You should assume a ring here. You should assume a ring. Then due to this ring, what is the field at point P1? Elemental ring. Then integrate, you'll get the total field. If you want to try, if you have a time, sufficient time, you can try that one. I think I'll wind up. 8:10 it is. Tomorrow we'll continue from here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you all of you.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.